We're on the record calling the matter of people of the state of Michigan versus Christopher Jasper Palazzolo, Palazzolo. This is case number 2201511FY. And Mr. Palazzolo is before the 55th District Court via video conference from the Ingham County Jail for a felony arraignment this morning. Mr. Palazzolo, again, good morning to you. Could you please provide the court with your date of birth?
May 23rd, 1981.
Thank you. How about a good telephone number?
517-928-4480.
Thank you. And do you reside at 321 Lloyd Street, apartment 313 out of Williamston, Michigan?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Counsel, your appearances, if we could start with the Ms. Matusko.
Thank you, Your Honor. It's Nicole Matusko from the Ingham County Prosecutor's Office. This case will be handled by Ailish Gallagher from our office, but I'm standing in today.
All right, thank you. Good morning, Ms. Matusko. Mr. Abbott, good morning.
Good morning, Magistrate Attorney John Abbott with the Public Defender's Office, representing Mr. Palazzolo today for this arraignment.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Palazzolo, the court has before it a felony criminal complaint. That complaint alleges that on or about a date range of March 2021 through May of 2021 at a location described as 321 Lloyd Street, apartment 313 in the city of Williamston, County of Ingham, and state of Michigan, that the defendant did contrary to law in count 1, did with the intent to cause cruel or extreme physical or mental pain and suffering, inflict great bodily injury or severe mental pain or suffering upon Elise Palazzolo, a person within his or her custody or physical control. This is contrary to Michigan law. It's referred to as torture. And the specific date range alleged in this count is the March 2021 through May 2021. This is a felony punishable by life in prison or any term of years. A consecutive sentence may be imposed under state law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Count 2 alleges that the defendant did make an assault or assault and battery upon Elise Palazzolo, an individual with whom he had a child in common, or a resident or former resident of his household, or spouse, or an individual with whom he had a dating relationship. This is referred to as domestic violence. The date range specified for this count is on or about April of 2021. And this is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days in the county jail and or $500 fine. Also, a consecutive sentence may be imposed pursuant to state law if the assault was committed in a place of confinement. Mr. Palazzolo, do you understand the charges as they have been read to you here this morning, as well as the maximum penalties?
Yes.
All right, you have many rights in your case. One of the rights that you have is the right to have an attorney. If you cannot afford to hire your own attorney, you could apply for a public defender, an assistant public defender through Mr. Abbott's office. Let me just ask Mr. Abbott, is Mr. Palazzolo requesting the public defender's office in this matter?
Yes, he is, Magistrate, and we'll enter a plea of not guilty.
The public defender's office is requested on Mr. Palazzolo's behalf. Mr. Palazzolo, you have other rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything that you state verbally or place in writing may be used against you in a court of law. You are presumed to be innocent unless and until you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to demand a jury trial. Your case is assigned in the 55th District Court to our Chief Judge, the Honorable Donald Allen Jr. 2 court dates have already been scheduled in this matter. There is a probable cause conference scheduled for Tuesday, October 4th at 8:30 in the morning. 1 week later, your case is scheduled for a preliminary examination. That's on Tuesday, October 11th at 9:30 in the morning. You are required to appear in person for both of those court dates. Any questions about that, Mr. Palazzolo?
No.
All right, and Mr. Abbott, demanding exam?
Yes.
All right. The court is prepared to address bond. In fairness to Mr. Abbott, let's go ahead and start with Ms. Matusko.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will say that Ms. Gallagher did prepare a bond form that I'm hopeful followed the case over. This is a unique case where this defendant has been charged with torture. However, I will note for the record that Elise Palazzolo was found dead in her home on May the 7th, 2021. And while the autopsy currently indicates the manner of death as indeterminate, during the course of this investigation, law enforcement did find multiple lethality factors as it relates specifically to intimate partner violence. The charges themselves do not allow this court to deny pretrial release because he is not currently charged with murder. However, I do think the court needs to take into consideration that during the investigation, law enforcement learned that this defendant had threatened to kill the deceased as well as their child in common, Gasper Palazzolo. He also threatened and used weapons. There are allegations of forced rape, prior strangulation. This defendant did control Elise's daily activities, monitored her whereabouts, and limited her ability to leave the home. He was and may currently still be unemployed. He has threatened or attempted suicide in the past, has left threatening messages, and weeks prior to her death, spoke to her parents. She had spoke to her parents about attempting to leave the defendant. In this case, we are specifically asking for a high cash surety bond in a range of $500,000 to $750,000 with a specific condition of release to require a GPS tether. We are also requesting a no contact order, and that would be under 6.106B5, allowing the court to enter. Oh, maybe that's the wrong number. No, sorry, allowing the court to enter in its order a condition of no contact or restricting or prohibiting the defendant's contact with another named person or persons. The person we are requesting the no contact order be with Jasper, Gasper Palazzolo. He is a minor child. However, he is a material witness in this case that previously law enforcement had been denied access to the witness by this defendant. So we are specifically asking for a no contact order to prohibit the defendant from having contact with Jasper, to be ordered not to be in the place of his residence or his guardian's residence, to not have or cause a third party to have direct or indirect contact with Gasper Palazzolo, not to physically assault anyone, not to use alcohol or controlled substances. I will note for the record, this defendant has a minimal criminal history, but that criminal history does entail an impaired driving and a use conviction. So we do believe that that condition is appropriate. And due to the violent nature of this case, we believe that the defendant should also be prohibited from possessing a firearm or any other dangerous weapons.
Thank you, Ms. Matusko. Mr. Abbott?
Thank you. As counsel noticed, he has a very limited criminal history, none and no convictions for violent crimes. He's got a strong presumption of innocence here, and these are all allegations. Mr. Palazzolo has been a longtime resident of Ingham County for over 10 years. He does have a 15-year-old child that he cares for, Jasper, and who's enrolled in school there in Williamston. So his risk of flight, Your Honor, is very low. He's employed working with Artemis Contracting and has been for several weeks. He's established a household here in Williamston. I think the risk of flight is low. As far as risk of flight to the community, Your Honor, as I mentioned, no criminal violence in his past and no failures to appear. I'd ask the court to grant him a bond that he can afford to post, Your Honor, under the circumstances, given the presumption of innocence, his stable home in the community, and no prior record for violence. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Abbott. Ms. Matusko, just for clarification, did you state that there have been instances where you're alleging that this defendant interfered with or attempted to interfere with the investigation as concerns the material witness being his son.
That's my understanding from speaking to the detective, is that they were denied access with or to the son. And I believe there was some, well, he may not have physically seen some of the abuse that took place on the night that Elise was murdered. There were some statements, I believe by Mr. Palazzolo, that he could have heard things. So he was clearly in the home when the abuse took place. So he would be a material witness, if not by sight, by sound of what took place that day.
There was no abuse that day. Jasper has
Your
never
Honor,
been reviewed that
Mr.
day.
Palazzolo,
Palazzolo, yeah.
I'm sorry.
As tempting as it is to speak on your own behalf, this is not the time or place to do it. This is
I
recorded.
apologize.
Okay,
Your Honor, denying access to one of your children is not interfering with an investigation. And as counsel mentioned, the cause of death is indeterminate. So I object to the speaking about this as a murder and speaking as if he's done anything wrong by denying access to the police. You keep the police away from your children. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you.
all right, Mr. Palazzolo, the court is going to go over some of your bond conditions on this record, though not all of them. So if you are, if you bond out of the Ingham County Jail, you will receive some paperwork. One of the documents you will be handed is a pre-trial release order that will list all of your bond conditions. Make sure you review that document carefully, as it's your obligation to make sure that you're in compliance with each and every bond condition ordered. We're going to state some on the record. You are required to report to Ingham County pretrial services within 48 hours of your release from custody. If that happens, you'll be provided a pamphlet for pretrial services, and you will just need to make a phone call to them within 48 hours of your release. From there, they will inform you as to what you need to do to stay in compliance with your bond conditions. They will be the agency responsible for supervising you if you're out on bond while the case is pending. Additionally, starting now and until further order of this court, you are not to purchase, possess, or consume any alcohol or illicit controlled substances, no hard drugs. That also includes marijuana. You will be subject to random drug and alcohol testing that would be at the direction of pretrial services. Also, starting now and until further order of this court, you are not to purchase or possess any dangerous weapon of any kind. That especially includes firearms and ammunition. Additionally, you are not to harass, intimidate, beat, molest, wound, stalk, threaten, or engage in any other conduct that would place any of the following persons or a child of any of the following persons in reasonable fear of bodily injury. That list includes spouse, a former spouse, an individual with whom you have a child in common, or any current or former resident of your household. The court is also ordering that a GPS tether is required for your release from custody. The jail will notify JSG, the tether company. The court has significant concerns for public safety. Given the offense that is alleged here, specifically charge 1, torture, carrying up to life in prison as punishment. Court is also aware of Mr. Palazzolo's criminal history. Not only Michigan, but there are some out of state records as well, which at a minimum shows at least previous contacts with other states and goes toward the assessment of flight risk. We've got a defendant charged with an offense that carries up to life in prison and contacts to previous states. Ms. Matusko, the court does not find sufficient facts presented, at least, to, I think, justify an extreme condition of having no contact with his son. That will not be ordered at this time. However, the court does find good cause that this should be a high bond for the reasons stated on this record. The bond will be a cash or surety bond in the amount of $750,000. Anything additional by either counsel?
No, thank you.
No, Your Honor, I just want to make sure I wrote the dates down correctly. It was October 4th at 8:30 for the PCC and then October 11th at 9 for the preliminary examination.
9:30, but yes.
9:30. Thank you. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, all right, that's going to be all in this record. Mr. Palazzolo, you can let the deputies know your arraignment is concluded, and Mr. Abbott and Ms. Matusko have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you.